I'm not gonna lie, fellas, I feel like I'm getting Cyberpunk 2077 release vibes here with this new game that I want to talk about that's called MindsEye. This new game comes from ex-Grand Theft Auto mastermind Leslie Benzies, who left Rockstar to create his own studio called Build a Rocket Boy over there in Scotland. And if there's anything that MindsEye proves to me anyways, is that it looks like, to a certain degree, that video games are indeed, honestly, they're evolving backwards at this point. And the people who bought into MindsEye Day One are obviously furious, and that's putting it lightly, and the game is also getting roasted from everywhere on the internet. So what the hell is going on here exactly? So like I said, MindsEye is the debut game from Build a Rocket Boy, a studio founded by Leslie Benzies. That's the guy who basically invented modern open world gaming pretty much. He helped spearhead games like Grand Theft Auto 3, GTA 4, Red Dead Redemption. This guy's resume is legendary, dude. This is why this is so confusing to see. So when Leslie announced MindsEye as his new sci-fi action adventure game with a Vegas-inspired city with a story about rogue AI, and then you have the main character, which is a guy named Jacob Diaz, and that you're seeing here on screen, who has like a brain chip in his head. It's like a Black Mirror episode, but in GTA pretty much. And people who love Rockstar's games design got hyped about this release because it meant that they were getting, in theory anyway, a new sci-fi cyberpunk Grand Theft Auto experience from the guy who made those games the hits that they are even to this day. It's like getting GTA 6 before GTA 6 comes out, or at least that was the hope anyway. And while I'm sure that the diehard fans thought that Build a Rocket Boy would release a legendary game that could rival Grand Theft Auto even, what ended up happening for real, honestly, was anything but that. Okay, credit at least somewhat, I guess. MindsEye does have GTA style driving, third-person shooting, and a cinematic story that's supposed to be tighter than Mafia, but also flashier than, say, Cyberpunk, at least on paper. And it also has a creation kit so you can build your own missions in-game, like Fortnite sort of does, I guess, again, on paper at least. This is the game's elevator pitch, and it should sound like a home run at first. A Cyberpunk GTA made by GTA people sounds awesome to me, and having both gang members and weird robots to shoot, it makes this game, at first glance anyway, it feels like that shot in the arm that the GTA formula desperately needed. So what went wrong here? Everything. Guys, oh my god, dude. Everything went wrong. I guess we should have known this was going to be a disaster when a mere week or two before launch, as seen here from Rock Paper Shotgun, that two top executives, that's Chief Legal Officer Riley Grabner and CFO Paul Bland, just left Build a Rocket Boy 1 week before launch. This, of course, made people go, wait, what's going on? How do top people at a startup company like this end up leaving before their big game comes out? Like, what's the deal? What's happening? Because you don't just leave a company right before its big debut unless you smell utter disaster behind the scenes. As Riley Grabner said via LinkedIn, as seen here, after 3.5 years, my time at Build a Rocket Boy has come to a close. I'm proud of what we've accomplished. During that time, we have more than doubled the size of the company to over 450 employees. We launched multiple products worldwide. We build the legal team and legal ops infrastructure from the ground up, working to systemize and automate. They have 450 employees, and this is the game that came out. What is going on over there? That's more devs than what it took to make Baldur's Gate 3, Clair Obscur, or hell, even Dark Souls. How does this happen? Then you also had the co-CEO, whose name is Mark Gerard of Rocket Boy, who decided to attack the whole industry prior to his game releasing. In case you don't know about this, as seen here from PC Gamer, MindsEye co-CEO claims there's a concerted effort to trash the game ahead of its release. I do know that there are bot farms posting negative comments and dislikes. As you can see here, Mark Gerard said in the game's Discord server that his studio and game were being unfairly targeted and attacked to destroy their reputation prior to release. And when he says doesn't take much to guess who, I mean, I don't know who he's really talking about, but my guess would be maybe he means Rockstar, which, you know, the whole thing is basically based on anyway, is trying to maybe sabotage this game and the company so that they don't become a competitor, I guess, to the GTA Golden Crown in the future. But I think personally, after seeing how people are officially reacting to MindsEye now that it's out here, that Mark may have been focused on the wrong problems here. Because besides the whole "the media is against us" story, at this point, maybe Mark could even believe believe that Rockstar could have hired devs to work at Rocket Boy to sabotage the game. And that's not true, by the way. I'm just joking. I'm just making a word here. But anyway, like I was saying, looking at how this game released to the public now, frankly, I'm just confused by what this game was trying to achieve in the first place. The game has an open world, sort of, but it's not what you would expect, which is again, another red flag. That's because MindsEye, in case you don't know, is not technically a full game yet, despite the fact that you can buy it already. Yes, I know that sounds confusing, I understand, so just let me explain it to you. GameIndustry.biz did a big interview with Leslie Benzies on May 30th, and within that interview, Leslie says some stuff that is, here, just let me read it for you guys and then you tell me. Leslie said, "We have plans to add multiplayer and we have plans to make a full open world. And of course, we also got to look at what players are creating and incorporate that into our plans. Given the ease of the tools, we think there's going to be a high percentage of players who will jump in and give it a pop. See how it feels. Hopefully some will create compelling content we can then promote and make that part of our plans to push to other players." So you heard that from Leslie himself, that MindsEye has launched without a proper open world or even multiplayer even. And the game instead just has a single player campaign that is very linear, and according to what I've read from people playing online, the campaign is roughly about 15 hours or so, and that's pretty much it. Besides that, at launch, PC players can create content using the editing tools that are available. Think of them like Forge and the Halo games, or what Fortnite can do, I guess, and besides that, that's about it. The PS5 and the Xbox versions of MindsEye, they don't even have the tools available at launch to make that bonus content either. It's only on PC right now. So if you plan on buying that game there, you're getting even less at release on what's already pretty meager to begin with. Leslie also got asked in that interview about what he envisions the multiplayer of MindsEye to be. Here's what he said. "I guess there's two sides to the answer. The dream from the building side is to allow players the opportunity to create their own multiplayer open world games with ease. So anyone could pick up the game, jump in, drive around, stop at a point where they see something of interest, build a little mission, jump back in the car, drive again, build another mission. Once you've built a couple of hundred of these, you've built your own open world, so that's the build side." He continues, "From our side, we want to create a place where people can socialize, play together, and engage in the stories that we built. So we do have plans next year to launch an open world multiplayer game that takes place a year after MindsEye finishes. In the interim, we also have an open world free roam game that spans from when MindsEye finishes to the launch of the open world multiplayer game. So the game will have a more robust open world experience after launch, but in the meantime, you just have this bare bones experience, and they keep referring to it as a multiplayer game that's separate, so not MindsEye? You see what I mean? Is it just me, guys? Or does this just sound like the kind of game that you maybe buy a year from now for like 20 bucks when it's all fixed and hopefully actually works this time? Because that's what I'm getting from this. Like, if you buy this at launch, you're just objectively getting a far less complete product for way more money. What's also bizarre is that MindsEye is a part of another game experience that Rocket Boy is doing, and that's called Everywhere, which you're seeing on screen now. It's a game, or maybe more like a platform, where other games would be hosted and then you can interact with them. It looks like if Fortnite and like PlayStation Home got fused into one, and as Leslie Benzies says here, it's all a part of the plan, which reads, "This is all part of a bigger story and ecosystem that we've got planned. Everywhere is going to show up again pretty soon. Everything that we're working on, there's a story behind it, a big overarching story. So Everywhere will come back and it fits into the story somewhere. I can't tell you where because it would be a spoiler, but that's going to reappear soon and will all be a part of the same product." So Leslie also says later on that the idea behind Everywhere and MindsEye being connected is that he wants to create a Roblox or Minecraft-like platform where games can be infinitely created through user-generated content, so this MindsEye game can be played forever, technically, again, on paper. But one look at people playing it right now, and MindsEye just honestly reminds me of Cyberpunk at release. It's just a mess, man. There's no way to sugarcoat this. There's bugs aplenty, there's physics that just aren't working, character animations are just spazzing out all over the place. The game is clearly just not finished at all. Even Shirako, who releases like full gameplay playthroughs on his channel, has said via Twitter here that MindsEye is by far the worst game that he's played all year. And this sentiment is pretty much everywhere across the board. The majority of players are just burying this game in bad reviews. And speaking of reviews, as of this video going live anyways, there isn't really any available available yet. That's because Rocket Boy decided to not send MindsEye to any review sites whatsoever, not even IGN, which is usually only done because they know that the game will review terribly. And the hope is that people will just buy the game blindly before reviewers are able to release their reviews for the game proper to hopefully make some of their money back. It's a really bad look, actually. The only time that I can think of when a game was not sent to reviewers prior to release and it worked in their favor was probably Doom 2016. But who are we kidding? MindsEye is not Doom 2016. It's just a mess, man. But if you ask me, it kind of makes me feel like video games are just evolving backwards, because we've heard that MindsEye's MO before. Oh, you can build anything in our world and do anything. You're the creator. It's, you know what it sounds like to me? Do you guys remember Peter Molyneux and his whole Fable thing and that God game he tried to make and all the shenanigans? It's that BS all over again. Look, I get it that the idea of infinite user-generated content sounds cool to devs, but the reality is that the vast majority of why people buy these sorts of games is for that high-quality experience that only real game developers can deliver. Like, it would be cool, I guess, if Elden Ring had a map creator, but to be honest, I'd rather just play the game that the devs made with higher quality assets instead. And if MindsEye's idea of infinite replay value is just hundreds of user missions all using the same tired asset flip soldier NPC bad guys, or whichever other generic assets that are available in-game, that doesn't really make what's on offer any more unique. And then there comes the voices, like, can you generate voice lines too? Does this game use AI that way? Well, Game Rant did a big article on MindsEye, which you're seeing on screen here, and also, as you can see within that article too, it is confirmed that MindsEye does indeed use AI voices in-game for NPCs and other dialogue as well. Rocket Boy does confirm that the game has professional voice acting and mocap like any other high-budget game, but I do assume that the reason why the game has AI voices is for that user-generated content. So players can write any lines that they need for quests, I guess, and then have NPCs do the voice lines, and that opens another can of worms, which is now this game also doesn't run well at all. It lacks features and content, and now Rocket Boy is also confirming that they don't even want to pay multiple voice actors because they can just use AI anyways, which will come off as scummy to many, and probably they'll just not buy the game on that principle alone. But really, to me, MindsEye is just a problem of a much bigger problem. Like I said, gaming just feels like it's evolving backwards. Look at this clip from Nick Tech where they compare MindsEye to GTA. And as you're seeing on screen, GTA has more detail in its destruction than a game made today by 450 employees and then some. And the way that MindsEye is being received and how it's pitching all of these ideas, it just feels like, to me, maybe I'm wrong, but it doesn't seem to be what I personally look for in video games these days. Having a cinematic single-player story campaign is great. It's the user-generated live-in-our-world voice AI stuff that I'm talking about instead, because MindsEye is like somebody who's building their car piece by piece while their friend is in the driver's seat driving that same car down the highway at like 100 miles per hour, yet it's still just the frame of the car. They haven't even put the seatbelts in yet, the brakes don't work properly, the lights are being finicky, side mirrors, those aren't even installed yet. Hell, even the windshield has been placed in, but even then the car is just being driven and it's also on fire and it's leaking gasoline and the tires are halfway deflated already. It's like with stuff such as MindsEye, they're biting off way more than they can handle. You know what I mean? Like, they want this game to be this epic single player campaign, but it also needs to be an open world, but that isn't fully there yet. But we also need multiplayer, which isn't available yet either, but we also wanted to connect to this everywhere platform thing that they made as well. And it's like, how about we just stop for a second, guys, focusing on this whole big grand picture that's in front of us, and let's just make this thing work as intended first before we move on to like 10 different other pipe dreams dreams that will all take years to make, you know? It's like Dark Souls. You know, when you play Dark Souls or Elden Ring, your stats matter to your build, and it's usually ill-advised to just spread your points at random, and it's far better to focus on a few stats like strength, endurance, etc., or maybe a full magic build, than instead just putting random points into whatever and then wondering why your guy sucks at literally everything. That's MindsEye pretty much. They're so focused on being everything that they ended up doing nothing good at all. It's just a bad way of doing this. I don't really care about your multiplayer or your big open world that you want to implement in the future when your base game is falling apart at the seams to even run properly right now. How about we build the foundation of the house and ensure that this single house has clean water and electricity and everything else before we worry about making 6 other houses at the same time, maybe. It just seems like MindsEye Studio, they just have their priorities backwards. Nothing they say tells me that this game is quality made or fun to play. It's just promises and whataboutisms. I don't care what your game will hypothetically have in 2 years. What does it have right now? Why do I need to drop what I'm doing this instant to go play MindsEye? And the answer is that they can't really answer that because there is no answer. What's here is just a mess, and unfortunately in the state that it's in, this won't rival GTA, never mind any other game either. I mean, the Steam player numbers are not good. Here's where it's at as of this video going live, okay? It's at 1,353 players on Steam, with a high peak of only 3,300. You gotta be kidding me, dude. And look at its Steam reviews here. They're terrible. And besides gross monetization or, you know, activism in gaming, this is another pillar of gaming that needs to be crushed as well, which is empty corporate promises that don't deliver finished products, and they're still asking for premium prices. Instead, you have a disgruntled CEO claiming that his boogeymen that are out there are review bombing his game using AI, while real players are playing this game right now and they're streaming this to people and telling everyone to just avoid the game at all costs. So what then? What happens? Are we all now just paid agents of Rockstar? Any of you guys get paid by Rockstar to spit on MindsEye, by the way? Because I mean, my email hasn't got that check from Rockstar yet. No matter how much I refresh the page, I guess they're not sending it or something to me. So we've got executives that are fleeing the sinking ship. We got conspiracy theories as to why the game is doing poorly. There's no review copies that got sent out beforehand, and a day one patch that's late, by the way, for Xbox players. It just seems to me that MindsEye has done everything wrong that they possibly could, and it's just insane to see. Then you have the bugs in the game that are just not big studio worthy, man. How did this make it past QA? We've got cars merging into each other. We have NPCs like running through the air somehow. Not to mention all the full-on game crashes that are being reported despite the platform, and price-wise, it's $60 for the standard edition and $80 for deluxe. And I just gotta say it how it is, man. This game looks like it's still in alpha at times. As Dexerto states in their article here, MindsEye players are already demanding refunds a day after release, and places like Xbox are apparently denying some of their refunds despite being under an hour of playtime. And the game is also confirmed, if you can believe it, amidst all the other bad stuff I already told you. Guess what? The game is locked at 30 frames per second on pretty much everything. Again, who was this made for, dude? Why was this made? How did any of this get past anyone qualified to make real business decisions? Look at this Reddit post where a player crowns MindsEye as well, this generation's Assassin's Creed Unity. This is a mess, guys. Look at that face. What is going on? Look, MindsEye isn't just a bad game at this point, honestly. It's instead just a warning sign for both players and the studio heads that are making these games. Gaming's supposed to evolve in the future, right? We went from Pong to like Half-Life to Grand Theft Auto 5 and Dark Souls and whatnot. Games that push tech and storytelling and freedom and gameplay mechanics to new heights. But now these days, it just feels like we're stuck in a loop of just buggy launches and soulless open world games and microtransaction hells for the most part. MindsEye clearly wanted to be Grand Theft Auto meets Cyberpunk, but honestly, it's more like Saints Row 2022, if anything. But somehow it launched with even more glitches, and that's the problem, okay? Gaming's not moving forward really, it's regressing, and that's really sad to see. Back in my day, God, I sound old, but games like Grand Theft Auto San Andreas or Halo 2, they shipped finished. There was no day one patches. No, we'll fix it later. Devs had to nail it because you couldn't just patch a PS2 disc, but now studios drop drop like $200 million on a game and it launches like it was coded by interns on their first day at work. MindsEye is built also on Unreal Engine 5, by the way, not that it really matters when it runs this poorly. And don't give me that games are hard to make now excuse. Yes, they're complex, okay? They've always been complex to make. But studios in the past have proved that you can recover from a bad launch if you listen to players. Look at CD Projekt Red with Cyberpunk, or even Hello Games with No Man's Sky. Actually, No Man's Sky is a great example here because that went from a laughingstock kind of like MindsEye to an utter masterpiece because their devs cared. It's not just lazy anymore, okay? This kind of stuff, it's just disrespectful. Players are not your beta testers and people are not obligated to give you money just because you think you deserve it. In the end, MindsEye's failure isn't just one studio dropping the ball, in my opinion. It's a symptom of an industry that's just lost its way. We need a hard reset. No, not a reboot. We need to rethink priorities completely and what actually matters when it comes to games. Because it's no longer just empty promises. We need games that work at release that aren't garbage. The fact I even have to say that is kind of crazy, but what can you really expect anymore? And you know what? Screw it. Before I go, here's 3 steps to fix this in my opinion, okay? Step 1, prioritize polish over the promises that you made. Stop hyping the games with these CGI trailers and buzzwords like metaverse, or you can build anything you want, or live in our world and all that other crap. Ship a game that works first. If Baldur's Gate 3 can launch with minimal bugs, so can you. Step 2, listen to players, not your shareholders, because this is not how you're going to build trust in the future. Again, look at Larian Studios. They talk to their community all the time and it shows. Or again, Hello Games with No Man's Sky. You need to build these bridges, guys, not burning them all the time. And step 3, take risks again. My God, the best games, Portal, The Witcher, Dark Souls, they came from developers who dared to be weird. Stop chasing Fortnite clones and making something new that doesn't feel like a weird asset flip like MindsEye does right now. Look, okay? Look, I wanted MindsEye to succeed, okay? Leslie Benzies is a legend in games. He made GTA and what it was, and Build a Rocket Boy. They do have potential. It has to be there. And their idea of monthly content drops and a creation kit, it could be cool, but right now, all I'm seeing, honestly, is just a cautionary tale. Games can't keep coasting on nostalgia and broken promises over and over again. We need these executives and the developers to step up and take accountability and make games that respect our time and money again, not whatever the hell MindsEye is right now. But what do you think about MindsEye, or really just games in general evolving backwards? Let me know in the comments. Subscribe. Thanks for watching. Here's some more content on screen if you want to watch that too, and I'll see you guys in the next one.